Hello and welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I am Dustin, and we have Zombie.
Dairy.
There we go. And Pumira wasn't able to join us tonight. She's on a side quest and all that. I almost said C quest because we were just talking about that with Pops earlier. So
ESV, baby.
But okay, so for those who aren't familiar with our show, let me just say that, well, I had an intro, but it's regarding this. But, you know, madness.
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 Geek-Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds podcast has now joined the Madness Comic Network.
So, yeah, that is our little intro, fun little thing that we did. And so, yes, we normally get together. We talk about toys. We talk about lots of random stuff. We usually get off topic quite a bit and then always have to somehow circle back around and bring it home. And we usually talk about the point of ADHD theater is we talk about older movies usually, but we mix some in, newer ones. But the main thing is we shed light on older movies that you might not have seen, or maybe you have. It originally started with me and my buddy Kurt, who would always be like, "Oh man, you haven't seen this movie? Oh, what? You got to see this movie." So he was constantly suggesting for movies for me to watch, and I would finally, you have to watch them, or I wouldn't watch them, and he would ask again, and he would just harp on those things all the time, back and forth when we worked together. And then it turned into this, and it's been one of the longest running things on our show. We've been doing this for over a year now, right? I think, but
yeah.
Anyway, that's that. What do we have in the box today?
So I know you're excited about what you got, Dustin. So why don't you lead the charge?
I am and I ain't. I am and I ain't. I am and I ain't. Okay, so I got Wily Kit. Let's see. Let's make it bigger. Got Wily Kit, and so that's really cool. And then I got Chilla. She has this awesome soft goods cape that nice. I just really like it. However, her knee is mad wonky, and so I'm not real sure about that. It feels very concerning. So I reached out to Big Bad Toy Store for support because I unfortunately had to get it through them instead of the usual ordering through Super 7. But yeah, where is
that definitely looks loose. Definitely loose.
Yeah, it really looks mad wonky, and I mean I can bend it, but I'm afraid that it's gonna just snap and be completely lost, and that's not what I want because she just looks so cool.
I hope they get back to you soon, because I know the Lunatics are your favorite Thundercats villains. So
yeah,
hopefully,
yeah. And so they gave me an email that I have to email and show, give an example of what's going on, and then hopefully they'll get back with me after that. But yeah, so
I've had to use their service a couple times, and it's always been pretty smooth, pretty easy to get stuff in place. I had a couple turtles I had to get replace. So
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have much trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're good for the most part, especially since this is more like physical. Because I know I reached out to him about an issue I had with Tigra, because the Tigra I got had just mad paint issues. It was like splotch everywhere, all over it, and so I sent it to them, or I sent the request over to them, but they didn't have any more. So I reached out to Super 7 and I'm like, here's what's going on. And that's how I got talking with Brian Flynn, and had him on the podcast a couple times. And it was funny because I was complaining about it to him, and I showed him the pictures, and then he, the next time I replied or responded to him, I'm just like, hey, do you want to come on our show? And he's like, yeah, sure. It's like, okay. Well,
Yeah, I think we rocked a few boats with that show. That
yeah.
first one we did with him, that was definitely, we broke the news on the Copper Kid was coming out, because everybody was like, well, what's going on with Silverhawks, because they're not on your site anymore and all that kind of stuff. So we got the scoop on that one.
Yeah, we did. And of course now Copper Kid's out and all that. So
Good times.
I'm really waiting for more of the just the normal like 1 or 2 man vehicles, like the Electrocharger, but like for Thundercats. I want some of those. I think those would be cool to do. But anyway, that's besides the point. But what about you? What about you guys? What did you get?
Zombie, I'll let you go next.
Are you sure? I might be a while.
It doesn't matter. I've got very little content for this because I'm back in a desert. So
Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Well, you say yours first, because I've got a little spiel to go with mine.
So yeah, I haven't gotten anything in the mail. I've still got more stuff on pre-order. But speaking of Super 7, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I'm a fan of the band Ghost.
Yeah.
And so I've collected. I need to get them set up on my case back here somewhere. I think they're up at the very top where you can't see. I've got the first 3 Papa Emeritus Super 7 figures, but they just put up. I want to say it was the end of last week. They put up a pre-order for Papa Emeritus 4.
Yep.
Which his color scheme, I think, is one of the coolest ones they've done, because they've done, black and red, black and gold, I think white and gold.
Yeah.
The whole the teal with the black with all the insignia on it. It's really cool. I mean, one of the reasons I like those is so they're like Swedish metal, which isn't, necessarily what we consider heavy metal.
Right.
But it is Satan music that I can listen to in the car with church-going in-laws, and then not understand that we're singing about worshiping the devil and everything. I just like the theatricality of the group, like that their guitar playing. So the band Papa Emeritus stays the same. He's the same guy. Tobin, what's his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Tobias Forge. That's his name. He stays the same, but for each album, they'll bring in other people to play on the album, which I think maybe on the last one, Imperium, like they brought in a guitar player from Anthrax, who wrote and played a lot of the guitar on the album or something like that. So, but yeah, the band's just cool. Their concerts are cool. They just came out with a movie right here, right now that I want to see. They basically wouldn't allow people to bring in cell phones to the concerts they filmed, because there was going to be so much extra cool stuff for the movie. So those are
okay.
like one-time experience concerts. So this is one I'm super excited about because I really like Super Seven's line of like all of the bands, and like they've got the Biggie Smalls figure. Like that stuff's just really cool to me.
Yeah.
I collect a lot of vinyl, so I'm pretty big into music, and this one, when it popped up, I was like pre-order immediately.
Right.
No gun shyness at all. I just pulled the trigger on it. But hopefully this week I'll have some stuff showing up. I think I've got some stuff in my pile of loot I'm getting ready to release. So hopefully
Nice.
I'll have some more of that and have actual things I can show in front of the camera versus
It's
not.
all good.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll still
and
keep bringing all my nerd books and everything here, different lines or whatever volumes and stories and stuff. But there we
Speaking
go.
of nerd book,
Oh,
I got the latest issue of Chitara, or got the latest issue of Thundercats. I said Chitara because they are releasing a Chitara comic book, standalone comic book. So, but yeah.
She's so hot.
Oh, so much, so hot, so hot.
I mean, when I was a little kid, I was sweet on Chitara.
Oh yeah. What do you mean? When I was a kid, I'm still sweet on Chitara.
True.
It's like as I'm scrolling through like people who cosplay, it's just like, ooh, Chitara, ooh, Chitara.
I just don't have to like pause cartoons anymore. Like, there's other things I'll watch.
Oh well, obviously, yeah.
Like Demolition Man.
Yeah.
We'll get to that though, guys. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there. But so Jessica said that she can't wait to see Ghost in concert. Hers got canceled, and but she said the movie is good, and then she says you will love Right Here, Right Now.
I have no preconceived notions that I won't just love it. I mean, so when their last album came out, maybe 2022, I literally had only listened to them a little bit before that, and I was painting one night, pulling a Zombie, which I paint nowhere near the quality that Zombie does, so don't ask me to. But I was sitting there just tooling around, painting some custom figures for myself, and somebody in it might have been in the Cabal before I got kicked out, don't remember. But somebody recommended it as an album, like hey, what do you listen to?
Yeah.
Like Pacific Legion. And so I just went into Spotify and just clicked on the album and started listening to it, and literally there were 7 or 8 songs on the album that like were so catchy that I listened to it, and then I listened to it again back in succession, and like I ran out, I don't know, a few days later, bought it on vinyl, and just if I don't have anything that I specifically want to listen to, I just throw that album on because
Nice.
It's awesome. I mean, it's not what Americans typically think of heavy metal, so don't go into it thinking it's a bunch of screaming and beating on instruments or anything. It's very I don't know the right word for it, but it's very artistically put together.
Fair enough.
It's theatrical,
Yeah,
as well. So
There you go. Yeah.
but probably not the theatrical that Rammstein is.
Oh no, they don't use a big old freaking dildo and shoot,
Play the drums.
ism all over the audience. So I don't know if you guys have necessarily saw that before, but I think that was on the Family Values tour.
Nope.
No.
99. Yeah. Oh yeah. Lead singer wore a mock penis, and it actually shot.
That's
fans.
That's so wild. And I mean,
Sorry,
I was a big fan of.
So
I was a big fan of Rammstein.
Wow.
When I first I
Wait
got
till they get a load of us.
right. I got my
get a load. Rammstein.
I chose my words on purpose.
mayonnaise. I liked Rammstein because I got my brother-in-law's radio, and he happened to leave a disc in there, and so I just hit play. I'm like, all right, well, what is this? I don't even know, and it started playing Du Hast, which that is like my all-time favorite song.
Ooh.
And I'm just like, I just grabbed my nunchucks.
Oh, the guitar riff and that
proceeded
song.
to knock himself out.
No, and I just went wild and just bounced around the living room space I was in, and I was just like, oh man, this is so great. And then I found out all the crazy ass shit that they do on tour, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I shouldn't broadcast that I'm into this in front of other people. Like,
Nope, let the freak flag fly.
yeah, it's just like, oh, maybe I just need to be moderate this just a little bit.
Nah.
I mean, I'm a juggalo, so it can't get any worse than that.
Yeah, right. But
All right,
yeah,
Zombie,
so,
I think we've thoroughly pumped for you.
Went off
Yeah.
on that tangent.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
speaking of Big Bad Toy Store and pre-orders, now I've shown this guy on the show before, but this is
hang up. There we go.
my absolute favorite werewolf figure, and they've released a white version that was exclusive to, I don't know, some website that I can't pronounce, and then on Big Bad Toy Store they have another one, and I believe it's under Monster Force for Fresh Monkey Fiction or something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, and it's a black version. So I was going to get another one of these and paint in black, but now I don't have to because they're going to make
Right.
a black one. So I jumped on that pre-order immediately. Like you were saying, Derry, you couldn't pre-order fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like that's my pre-order share. So
Right.
so I picked these up from our friends over at Omega Level Toys. This is the one of the newer scaled figures for Mythic Legions, brute scale.
Yeah.
So you got he's an orc. I mean, he's pretty tall. I mean, you see him on camera here. This is a regular standard sized figure, so he's a good like head tall. Let me get him on the other side of that staff there. You know, at least a head taller than a standard, regular orc that they've released before. But he comes with all kinds of stuff too, and he's got. Let's see, what did I do with? Where's the head? Here he is. He's got an alternate head.
That
more
one's
paint.
cool.
Yeah, I like this one a little bit better than just the regular standard head.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like I really dig the paint job on this guy's head.
Yeah.
And because of the way that these figures are made, they just I just pulled his head off. They just pop right off. Let me grab this guy. Now, this doesn't work with every figure and every scale that they have. They're not all interchangeable. These just happen to be a similar size, close enough to where that works.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
really
he
cool.
doesn't look like the dude on Beetlejuice.
Yeah, no, a little micro head. Yeah, no. So, and then he comes with, a couple of other accessories. He's got like this magic orb type of deal, a couple extra hands.
There's the website.
Yeah, so if you want to go pick up some stuff, it's omegaleveltoys.bigcartel.com, and they've got a sale going on right now. At checkout, this is across the entire site, by the way. Use the promo code OMEGA at checkout to get 20% off. All of the stuff order. Your entire order, not just a single figure, all of it. Everything that you put in your cart for that order, you use that code, you'll get it 20% off.
Yep.
That is cheaper than retail that these figures are kind of required to be sold at. So
Right.
you're really getting a good deal there. It really, really is a good deal. Because when you get one of these guys in hand and you just see the value of them, of what you get, this guy comes with all kinds of soft goods and they're wired.
Yeah.
It's insane. And he's got magic effects. This, of course, is a djinn, a genie. I mean, he comes with the
That's
lamp.
so cool.
Yeah.
This badass sword here he comes with.
Here's the thing I would say about Mythic Legions for people who maybe aren't into them yet. It's a slippery slope because if you get in on a newer wave and you start looking back at the original Kickstarter figures and all this stuff, the earlier waves were basically Kickstarter pre-orders. So all that's out there is what people pre-ordered. So those figures come at a premium. I mean, I spent, $200-$300 on a figure before of Mythic Legion.
Yeah, secondary market. Yeah. So, I mean, they go up in value really quick too, because once they kind of sold out everywhere, they have their partnership with so many retailers, people that own their own shops and stuff like Omega Level Toys. But once these guys start selling out of the product, like you can't find them anywhere. Like this guy here, Father Christmas, this is a retailer exclusive version. It comes with the green robes and everything. Again, soft goods, wired. Once they're gone, they're kind of gone. Like even the horsemen have said, the guys that make this, they're not selling this themselves because it's an exclusive offer through their retailers. So they don't want to kind of create their own kind of competition with their own retailer partners. So, but yeah, Omega Level has some of these. If you like Christmas, these are the premium kind of format figure obscuras. That's the inside of this box. It's magnetic. All of these boxes that they come in, whether it's Figura Obscura, Cosmic Legions, Mythic Legions, they're all collector friendly. They're all resealable. If you want to pack everything back up nice and tidy in their boxes, you can do so. If you're not into Christmas, I mean, he's even got a couple of the Headless Horseman figures. He's got a couple of those still in stock. And I've kind of removed the inner tray so everything's not nicely displayed and everything, but I want to share with you just some of the artwork that's on those boxes. It kind of doubles as like a display piece. You set this up on the shelf and then set the figure in front of you. This is just kind of a Sleepy Hollow type of scene. And this,
an artist, Nate Barch, does pretty much all of their artwork for Mythic Legions and then the figure Obscura. So I don't have his specific information right now, but definitely go out and check out the Four Horsemen website. What's their website?
Their website is
Source Horseman.
Yeah. Source Horseman, sourcehorseman.com. I'm kind of unprepared. I just kind of grabbed this guy, but here's the Headless Horseman figure himself.
Yeah.
So it's not just a clever name.
Yep.
You got the ham steak neck. I can't say it. But yeah, I mean, no, he even comes with, he's got the flaming pumpkin head. This glows in the dark. All the green kind of details to him. Comes with extra hands. It comes all kinds of stuff, just all kinds of goodies. There's the non-flaming head. The horse's eyes. That green glows in the dark.
Yep.
The hooves, that glows in the dark. Part of the box that the thing comes in glows in the dark. It's insane.
Which is outrageous.
Yeah, no, let me get that pumpkin out of the bag here. I'll take them out real quick, show them off. And you can attach these to the figure. He comes with a neck peg, so you can remove the ham steak neck and pop the neck peg on the body, and he can wear them. But yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and these guys, I mean, if you're a customizer of any kind, these guys pop apart like a dream. You
Yep.
can swap body parts like you wouldn't believe. Oh. But yeah, I mean, if you see anything that catches your eye like that, just head over to the Omega Level site. Dustin, I'm sure you could share that link. Pops is saying, drop that link in the StreamYard chat, please, so it goes everywhere. But yeah, you've only got a couple of days to get over to the site if you're going to take advantage of the 20% off code. Sale ends at the end of this month, at the end of June 30th. So you've got until 11:59 p.m. June 30th to take advantage of that 20% off code. And I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just really good friends with the owner, Travis Hotard. I always want to say Hotard. I asked him, it's Hotard. Like, all right, you got it. But no, just trying to help support him. Because as a retailer, he has to buy so many of each figure or whatever in order to meet that minimum in order to sell this type of stuff. And with figures like this, it's a retailer exclusive. You're not going to get it anywhere else. So anything helps. But he's got some really cool stuff. He also has a Whatnot stream. Just look up Omega Level Toys on Whatnot. If you're into wrestling, or he does horror figures, he buys collections from fans. Sometimes it's statues. Sometimes you never really know what you're going to get, but go subscribe to him on Whatnot, Omega Level Toys on Whatnot, and he's a really outstanding guy. He really does take care of you when you buy something from him. Can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, and I've enjoyed every interaction.
Gotta get him on the show one time.
Yeah, for real. I mean, we talk about him enough. We need to get him on here.
Like, dude, just come on the show already. Clear your calendar, clear a Friday night or something, or whatever's good for you. He's a busy dude. He's like me. He's busy all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's it for me this week. I could go on, but I'm not gonna.
All right. Well, how do I go back to what I wanted? There we go.
There you go.
And so let's see.
All right. Before we get into the movies, anything news caught your eye? Anything that you've show that you saw or want to see, or something that's coming up that you're excited about?
I'm still agonizing over whether or not to watch Star Wars at this point or not. There's been so much like shit that's just hit the fan. It's just like, I don't know. It's like, do I want to watch it? But I'm
of course you're referring to Acolyte, correct?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, Acolyte.
I'm barely acknowledging that it exists. It's not for me. I'm not watching it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I love Star Wars. Star Wars has been about
but
my entire life.
I want to interject here. When it's made by somebody that's not a fan, that wants to ignore the lore that's been established, like, here's the parameters that you should make, your story with, and they completely ignore it and want to make up a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be stuff that's happening in the past. I mean, it's not the Wild West here. There's a certain set of rules that you should follow, and the groundwork has been laid for you, but you want to literally take a dump on it and go, no, I think I'm just going to do something to piss people off.
Right. And I mean,
I'm not into that. I'm sorry.
And honestly, I mean, I showed you the comments that I got when I just answered a simple, like, "Hey, what did you think of the first
Oh,
2
yeah.
episodes of Acolyte?" And I said, I was underwhelmed, and they came back with saying, "You're not a true Star Wars fan. You don't clearly like Star Wars at all," or and all this other stuff, and just gave this huge rant. And it's like, you just need to
Yeah.
not watch it. And I'm just like, you know what?
I don't feel control.
I went through this stuff hard. I had a hard time with this during the prequels because I liked the prequels. I went through this already. It's like, you know what? I don't really need to deal with your kind of bull crap, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's
Hey.
people just waiting for you to step on the landmine so they can attack you to make themselves look bigger. And I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm not falling for that. I'm not
Right.
feeding your ego, and I'm not going to defend anything that I say that I stand up for, or believe in. You believe in whatever you want to believe in,
Yeah.
and like whatever you like. I'm not going to come and try to shit all over it. And I don't expect, or appreciate you shitting on something that I like. I'm not going to talk bad about whatever fandom that you're a part of. Like what you like, and just leave everybody else alone. But when I have a problem when something that the creators come out and say, yeah, the goal was to make people mad.
Right.
That's not what you should be focusing on. I'm
Right.
sorry.
We
that
just
is
got to
not
come to
what
the
it's supposed to be about.
conclusion, and all of us stack hands, that Disney equals trash at this point.
Oh, yeah. I've got a big problem with Disney.
So, I mean, it's hard for me to get behind and get interested in anything that they're doing at this point. I mean, as much shit as I give Marvel, the first arc of the Marvel superhero movies, they did pretty good with organizing.
Yeah.
They had a few misses in there that I feel like people give a free pass. Hardcore Marvel fans, hardcore Disney fans. But once you see what's happened after you got through Endgame, it's just been
right.
and the quality is terrible.
Right.
I don't.
I refer to this all the time. Look at the freaking third eye on Doctor Strange. Garbage. I stand by that.
That was poorly done.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the
This movie
problem
just completely took me out of it.
The same quality. Movie after movie.
Yeah. And I mean,
the problem I have with situations like that, with stuff in production and people that want to push off call it an agenda or their beliefs on other people, that's not cool. Everybody has different beliefs. There's no two people that believe the same thing, even within certain groups of I'm desperately trying not to go to politics and religion because I don't like talking about politics and religion.
Even amongst ourselves.
Keep injecting it.
Yeah.
Like you can't not talk about it when you talk about shows.
Yeah, if you want to talk about equality and acceptance, but you're bashing another group in order to try and achieve, being accepted, you're not practicing what you're preaching.
Right.
That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Like you want me to accept you for whatever you say that you are, feeling like you exist as whatever it is, a potato or something for the day. But you want to bash on me because I am who I am. That's not cool. That's not equality. That's not what you say you stand for. You are standing for the opposite, actually.
Right.
So
that's what I have a problem with.
You know what's exactly like this? That's another company right now. The show The Boys.
I knew you were going to go there.
Like I'm 3 episodes maybe into the new season.
I've not heard good things.
I don't think I am going to watch another episode. I don't give a shit, because unless you lean towards a certain political party, which isn't very common where I'm from. Dustin, you're from a very, conservative state for the most part.
Yeah.
It literally just shits on
me. I don't know.
everybody that's not a part of that. That's not a part of that whole,
movement.
story, movement, whatever, and it's still really, just gory and everything, but it's getting away from the comics in certain aspects that's being injected with all of the virtue signaling and all that stuff, which I just don't have time for. Like I don't give a shit. Like
No,
Okay.
I agree with you.
It's just another way that cancel culture can inject an agenda into these shows and try to piss people off. So then when they react, they can try to cancel them. And like, literally, I'm done with it. Like,
Yeah.
just
I
delete
stop
that
watching
shit.
stuff when it gets to that point. I'm like, yeah, that's not why I started watching this. Now you've diverged too far, and I am not your target audience.
Yeah.
Well, and the showrunner, Eric Kripke, which I believe he was part of Smallville, or one of the CW shows that I used to watch, he's basically publicly said that, like, he doesn't want certain classifications of people to like or watch his media, which I can't even fathom how a company like Amazon could even get behind that, because
That's
as
crazy.
a for-profit company with shareholders, like, that's just wildly irresponsible to me. And I mean, I could go into the economics of how fucking stupid that is, but this is a fun show, and Derry's not gonna like light the place on fire. Our first one of these shows on Madness, like, I'll refrain from burning everything down tonight, but it will happen.
I mean, hey, it's like you see a post or something online that you don't like. You don't have to comment. You don't have to be a part of that conversation. You can just keep scrolling by.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just don't watch it. The best way to affect these corporations is to hit them where it hurts. You hit their pocket,
their wallet.
Enough people do that, they stop that crap real quick. It's like, no, we're not pandering to one demographic or another. We make entertainment for everyone.
Yeah.
So, on a good note, I just finished up a show on Apple called Dark Matter.
Yes. Is it good?
It's got Joel Edgerton in it. It's got Jennifer Connelly. So I didn't know what I was getting into right out of the gate. I think like 4 episodes were out. I just jumped into the first episode because I'm like, Joel Edgerton. I've always liked him as an actor. Used to have a major crush on Jennifer Connelly when she was young. So I was like, I'm going to jump in and watch this. And the description of it seemed very intriguing, like a sci-fi type show. And I can tell you, like, I just finished the last episode of it this week, and it was enthralling.
Really?
Like, the whole premise, and I don't want to give too much away because there is a big twist right at the end of the first episode that hooked me. Like, it fish hooked me. It just has to do with like world hopping, and going to different versions of different realities and stuff like that. And I mean, what happens at the end of the very first episode, just I was done. They had me, and it really was it was a great show to watch. And so, like, check it out. It's really good if you like that whole kind of, it's science fiction, but obviously it's not space, it's not futuristic. It's very science based. And Joel Edgerton plays a professor that teaches like physics and that stuff, but he has an idea that if it could be executed, it could open the door to like visit other realities and stuff. And then one thing leads to another, and it becomes a reality. And I'm going to guarantee you right now, I'm guaranteeing your mom that if she watches the first episode, she's going to watch them all.
Right. Yeah. You hear that?
Yeah.
He's
I'm
challenging you to watch it.
I'm trustworthy. I got her to watch.
I mean, she did watch all of Shogun at your suggestion. So.
Yep.
It
And
doesn't
the
matter the fact
subtitle.
that I was talking about it for weeks ahead of time. She's just like, if Darren says it's a 10, I'll watch it. And it's just like, what?
I mean, it's this face. I have that trustworthy face. Like,
Oh boy.
I haven't been watching any new series or anything, but I've been tearing through the old Howling movies from the 80s, and they're so terrible. It's a wonder the werewolf genre survived the 80s with those movies. Holy crap. Man, are they bad. I'm not going into detail. Let's move on to the theater part of the show here. Which one are we going to go for first, Batman or Demolition Man?
I think you got to end on Batman. Like,
Okay, we'll end with Batman.
You got to go up the mountain with these two.
Okay.
So, Demolition Man, and then the encore is Batman '89. I mean, we all know that you put all the superhero films in a bag and shake them up, it's going to come out on top, no matter what. Anybody who says it's not on top, you're a friggin' liar. You can put Avengers.
Oh no, he looks doubtful.
I don't agree.
Well, you just better change your mind before we get to it.
No, I will say, but I'll get into that later. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm just gonna bypass that and go to Demolition
Tell us
Man.
how you really feel.
Well, I'll get to that later. But
We're preparing for Thunderdome on this one. So.
So the okay, first of all, we were like totally confused sitting there watching Demolition Man. We're like, what the heck is this supposed to be funny? Like, why are they talking like that? And because they're literally talking, okay, they're literally talking how some people talk now.
Yes.
It's satire.
Okay. So hang on. When the movie starts out, the year is 1996. Okay, and it's showing mayhem and destruction. Current day,
Right.
Los Angeles, California. They show the aerial shot. There's buildings are burning. People are riding in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Our heroes riding in a helicopter to save some hostages from the big villain of the movie or whatever. So we don't start off in the future. It starts off at the time.
Right.
This movie came out. I think it was 93. Was it?
Nah, I think it was later than that. I would say it was like 4 or 5. I usually have IMDb up, but I'm slacking tonight.
Yeah, I didn't. That's the part I know. I think it's 1993. I have some notes.
We'll fact check it. We'll fact check it, guys.
Let's see, because I wrote something down here that kind of cross references the date, but I guess I don't know. I'm on the spot.
I'm getting it right now.
So at the time,
you're right, 93.
Okay, so at the time when this movie came out, 1996 was supposed to be the future. It was already cast in the future, but it was still a familiar type of reality for us. Like you could totally see, okay, 3 years, yeah, that might be happening for real. So
I think that's how we always feel, though. Like throughout time, you always feel like the country is going to burn in the next 3 years.
Well, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Especially these
hang
day
on.
and age.
So hang on, Dustin. Before we get to the future of the movie here, I've still got some points I want to hit on.
All right, do it.
So as our hero bungee dives out of the helicopter onto the building where the hostages are suspected to be, the big bad guy is, and everything. So I'm not even going to get into that kind of craziness. He catches up to the bad guy. He's doing his action hero thing. He's shooting people, kicking ass, dodging bullets, jumping down elevator shafts. He gets there, and the bad guy's already prepared for him. They've got barrels in the room, and he's gone through with his pig sticker and poked some holes in it, and it turns out it's gasoline. They were full of gasoline. So big bad guy's sitting behind the desk with his feet kicked up. He's got a torch down by his feet. Lights the torch, which automatically I got a problem with.
Oh, you're me and you are on the same wavelength.
So they have like a little back and forth or whatever, and he's saying, I forget
He's
what he said.
hovering a torch flame, a blue torch flame, inches away from a puddle of gasoline, and nothing.
Right.
Right.
Like nothing happens. Like gas fumes aren't combustible.
I was a pyro as a
Yeah,
kid.
right.
10 years old, I'm playing with fire, and I even knew that.
Right.
that was not fire.
Right.
So does he light it with the torch? Hell no, he lights a cigarette with
He
the
lights
torch. He flicks the cigarette into the gasoline, then everything explodes.
Yeah.
So,
We know that the cherry on a cigarette doesn't burn hot enough to set gasoline fumes on fire.
Right.
let's see.
That's just
Oh,
an abomination of science.
yeah,
It is.
yeah. So there was a little bit of a foreshadowing. Our main villain Phoenix. He says to our hero John Spartan, he'd lose his head if it wasn't attached. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing there. I didn't catch it the first watch that I did, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's okay. And then come to find out, during that back and forth, Phoenix told John the hostages weren't there, when in actuality they were. John, as it turns out, after the building blew up and everything, they found the bodies of the hostages that John was trying to save. So it's presumed that because of his altercation with Phoenix, that it's John's fault that all of the hostages are dead because of the explosion. But John said that's impossible. I did a thermal sweep of the building before we even went in. So that tells you the hostages were already dead.
Right.
They weren't warm enough to be picked up on a thermal
they weren't
sweep.
warm enough to pick up by the thermal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like there's no investigation whatsoever into why, he says one thing and this happened. No, they're like, no, we're going to freeze you as your punishment, which, 1996, that doesn't exist, you don't get frozen in prison or whatever. So I'm laughing at that already. But yeah, so our hero gets frozen right alongside the villain in this ice penitentiary type of thing, and he's saying, yeah, you'll be available for parole in like what was it, 2046, he says. So and the warden that's telling him this is actually the vice warden. When we go to the future, is now the warden.
Right.
So I caught the name. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Nice. He stuck around. So he was frozen on November 20th, 1996.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the future. It is now August 3rd, 2032. So it's a little sooner than what he's supposed to be, unfrozen for his parole. But Phoenix is getting his parole much earlier, which I found kind of strange. I'm like, why did they set his parole sooner than John's? Like, I don't know. That was a little weird to me. I don't know. Different crimes, I guess.
So he wasn't supposed to be paroled then.
Right.
That was all part of the.
Right. So John's parole was 2046.
Mm-hmm.
But Phoenix's was August 3rd, 2032, much sooner than John's.
Right.
But that when they thawed him.
Yeah.
But originally, he's thawed because of this whole master plan that the douchebag in robes has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was scheduled to be. Like, they manipulated that to get him out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I that's what I got too.
So, okay, now Dustin, with the way they talk and everything, that was something that I picked up on too. And this is one of the reasons why I suggested Demolition Man, so that we can make parallel comparisons here between stuff that's happening now in this movie. That is, it's 2032. It's still the future for us. So.
Right. And they're talking about like, oh, death, marry, kill, or whatever the crap, the
Murder, death,
acronym
kill.
they give it.
Murder, death,
The
kill.
murder what?
DMK. Murder,
What was
death, kill.
Yeah, murder, death, kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh. And it's like Riz and all that stupid crap that kids say nowadays. It's just like, oh,
You give me
my
joy,
gosh.
joy feelings.
Right.
It's like, why'd you say
Good day
it
to
twice?
you. It's just like, oh man, this is it hurt. It
Be
hurt.
well.
Yeah, be well. It's just like, goodness. I was seconds away from turning it off, and I'm just like, all right, no, I gotta keep plowing on. Another thing that I thought, I had this random idea. It's just like, wait a minute, is the John Spartan the inspiration for his character in The Expendables? Because he has the same beret hat thing, and it's just like, oh, is he drawing from that well of experience or something? Like, I don't know. It's like,
that's a whole other movie
Oh, yeah.
series with a whole other bunch of set of parallels that we can
oh
go
yeah,
into.
for sure. But I'm just saying, I was just like, huh, maybe that's where he got the idea for this.
How do you think we would fare with the verbal morality statute that they had in place?
Well, I know I wouldn't be
I'd
doing
be
very
poor.
well.
Like, I've probably been fined, 100,000 credits just on the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, that is so painful. And like, okay, I will hand it to John Spartan when he's just like, F this, F that, F you. He's like, there, got my problem solved, because he needed to take a crap.
Yeah, the 3 seashells. That's, yeah. He solved the problem with toilet paper.
Right. And that's one thing that Pumira was just like, wait, we still didn't find out how the seashells are supposed to work. And I'm like, I don't think that was the point.
I imagine you just scrape really hard.
Yeah, I don't scoop and scrape. I don't know.
I mean, your butthole would get like used to it. You build up a little scar tissue, and then
scar tissue. Oh my god. I didn't look into the 3-shell theory, so I don't. You look that up at your own discretion.
Dustin, so this was the first time you've seen it?
Yes, yeah. This is
and
the
then
first time.
Zombie, I'm assuming you've seen it before.
Oh, several times, yeah.
Oh yeah. So you're in my boat with this thing. So
yeah, it was easy for me to pick out my notes here. So I'm like, okay, that's coming up. I got to write that down.
Well, I think
it's definitely one I have never seen. So
the reason why I remember this was 1993 is because in I don't remember her character's name, but Sandra Bullock's character, as in her office, she had a bunch of like the memorabilia and stuff from the 20th century or whatever it was, and on the wall was a Lethal Weapon 3 poster.
Yeah,
and that movie came out in 1992. So I'm like, wait a minute, when did this movie come out? Oh, it's 1993. So they had to have gotten that poster just as that movie was being released, Lethal Weapon 3, in order to have it during production for this movie. So it was the most current poster that they could possibly think of to put in this movie for something for the future. You know?
Right.
I got a chuckle out of that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Let's see. Oh, the AI systems that they had in place. We're kind of touching on AI right now.
Yeah. And honestly, to call back that's honestly one of the reasons why he's no longer on social media.
Who?
You were just talking about him earlier. Nate Bartsch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he came out. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a break from this. I'll see you later on. So, but yeah, AI is ridiculous. It's crazy and creepy that we have to even think about this kind of stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
let's see. I'm going to touch on a point where you were talking about how they everybody speaks and their mannerisms, and I wrote down wimps everywhere because
Yeah.
even the police force is wimpy.
Oh, dude.
When they go to apprehend Phoenix after he's
How do I
broken out,
proceed?
yeah, they've got their little their handheld things going, hey, what do I do? We caught up to him.
Yeah.
So
say in a stern voice,
yeah,
don't do that again. It's just like, what?
So it doesn't work, of course. Phoenix
Right.
turns around and attacks all of them, and then you hear one of the guys at headquarters go, we're police officers. We're not trained for this kind of violence.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, that's.
It's just wild. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, and the no physical contact thing. What does that sound like?
oh,
Oh,
goodness.
social distancing and all that shit.
Yep.
So, I mean, I could go really deep on some of these themes to me, this movie has always been like a commentary and a satire on moving away from like what will happen as we transition away from strong male figures, which guess what? A lot of our media is right now is how do we transition away from and devalue like having strong men with strong opinions and, that role in society. And I could go on for days about this, but like,
and then what happens when shit got real? They had to have a strong male come in and take care of it.
Like, I mean, so I'm 10 years old when this movie comes out. I was telling Zombie before the show, I had my own money, went to Walmart. I think like brand new VHSs at the time at Walmart, like right when the movie released on video, were like $20, which, I mean, really movies haven't went up that much. So at the time, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought this movie. I watched this movie countless times throughout my life. I have it on Vudu. When I saw that this was one of the movies this week, I was like, oh, wow, I just watched that like 3 weeks ago. Because I've always, as I've gotten older, I see like the satirical part of it of, hey, we're going to basically, weed out of society all of these, all of the genes that they don't want by locking these guys up in these cryo prisons.
Right.
And then indoctrinating everybody to be weak. And it's like one of the scariest things to me right now is that we've taken steps towards this future where Taco Bell is like the high end of, fine dining.
Bell won the franchise wars. So
the franchise wars.
Every restaurant's Taco Bell.
But here's a big point on Taco Bell in this movie. So in other countries, Eric Bertram brought this up one day, and he's like, hey, he goes, we were talking about Demolition Man.
Hang on a second. If everyone's eating Taco Bell for all their meals, of course it's going to come out in a certain kind of way.
Yeah, true.
So it would be a lot easier.
Yeah, you're not
Sorry,
having
I just had to interject that.
Wait a minute. The thing to me that's sad about this is this movie came out and portrayed Taco Bell as like fine dining. They took over the restaurants, like everything's called Taco Bell. These poor people didn't have the pleasure of knowing what Baja Blast was because it didn't come out until 2004.
Right.
So, Eric Bertram brought this up. One night we were talking about Demolition Man, and he's like, yeah, he goes, in the future, everyone eats Pizza Hut. And like a bunch of us jumped on him. We're like, no, it's Taco Bell. No, it's Taco Bell. And he's like, no, I think you should go back and watch it. He sent us a video link So in countries where they didn't have, I can't remember, there's a very specific country where they don't have Taco Bell. They actually changed the dialogue in the movie, all the signs and everything, to where it was Pizza Hut instead.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is just a few months ago. I'm like blown away. And you can go out on YouTube and find the version of the movie where everything's Pizza Hut instead of Taco Bell.
So we used to have here in my town a combination Taco Bell and Pizza Hut.
Oh wow!
So there's some type of partnership there, like in reality.
Yeah.
Pizza. He says Pizza Bell. Taco Hut.
Pizza Bell.
Yeah. So they may have joined ownership of stocks or something. I don't know. I didn't know that about.
You know what? It probably is. So Taco Bell is part of a parent company. Well, I don't know if it's nationwide, but at least in the South, QSR basically owns and runs most of the Taco Bell franchises, from what I understand. I bet you they've got a big slice in on Pizza Hut too. So, I mean, that's a much bigger conspiracy. That there's this mastermind who's puppeteering both Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, because basically both of them give you the shits at this point based off their quality. But
doesn't Pepsi own both of them?
Probably.
Maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, I live in Pepsi's home state. I mean, it was invented here. So there's probably some big building in the shithole town where Pepsi was, and it's basically Pepsi, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, all run from the same headquarters.
Run.
Yeah.
Runs.
But yeah, runs. Before we get too far off topic, I want to touch back on something that you hit on, where society in the movie, the society kind of crumbles. Even after they freeze John Spartan and everything, it still goes downhill. Like bad things happen for quite a few years into the new millennium. Even they reference what was it, the big one that back in, what was it, the 90s, everybody was like, oh, the big one's going to happen, the earthquake, and it's going to, California is going to separate and all of that. They say it happened in 2010. And then sometime after that devastation is when society started picking back up. But before then, I mean, they were pretty much describing, how people were isolating themselves in their homes. And then, one guy stepping forward and kind of seizing control and kind of taking over everything, which is, what ended up happening. And then in 2011, that whole area that the movie takes place in was renamed San Angeles. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of going back to that, people during the devastation and all that kind of stuff, isolating away from everybody, again, no physical contact and that sort of shit, that's very much, we just went through all of that, a few years ago. So that was like, whoa.
Exchange of bodily fluids.
Yeah. In the virtual reality headset type of deal, you've got, what is it, Oculus?
Mm-hmm.
With virtual reality games and people doing weird shit with that.
I'm sure there's something on Pornhub for that.
It's outlawed here. I can't watch it.
What's that?
It's outlawed in North Carolina, so you can't even get on it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't know.
Not that there's 8 trillion other porn sites out there,
Oh, but... right. I remember you talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's the ADHD part of the show, folks.
Yeah.
We're veering off again. No, but one of the things that I want to also touch on that I wrote down here was how everyone is chipped.
Yeah.
Everyone has a biochip. And they're talking about that right now, too.
Right.
There's people that
Just get the jab, brother. Just get the jab.
It's no. I mean, like really, they're
yeah.
talking about injecting, so you don't have to carry, you don't have to carry a wallet. Oh, it's great.
Right.
You don't have to, carry any form of identification. You could just, it can be put somewhere and they just scan that and they know all about you. Yeah, I'm sure they would know all about me. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Right.
Gotta get a
Yeah,
VPN for my skin now.
Yeah,
I got to talk about this movie from a 10-year-old perspective.
Okay.
So,
Lay it on us.
I absolutely was obsessed with this movie. I thought it was so. I'm the kid that my parents, I mean, they let me watch RoboCop at a very young age, like Predator. Like, I mean, I'm 8 years old and seeing a lot of the quintessential 80s action movies with Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson. So, I was very deep in this genre by my 10th year of life. And like, so this movie to me at that time, like, I mean, the action, like the fight scenes with Wesley Snipes and how they gave him all of the training, all the combat
that was
training,
sick.
weapons specialists, all that. And then John Spartan gets knitting.
Yeah.
Like, for the time period, it just fits really well with the movies that were being made.
Yeah.
As far as the quality, not really the theme, fit. It's, to me,
very
kind of
action hero-ish.
Yeah, and dude, I was in love with this movie. I mean, I was telling Zombie, my dad wondered every time he grabbed the VHS to watch it why it always started at the scene where the woman's like drops the towel.
Video calls.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
the video calls. Something that we're even doing right now,
Right.
Yeah. My dad turns it on. It's the nudie scene right out of the gate, and so like he's like, well, that's weird. Yeah. I mean, he understood.
10-year-old with access to titties.
That was like my screensaver on my TV. Like my friends would come over, I would leave it up. But like I have so much nostalgia wrapped up in this movie that, I mean, someone seeing it for the first time as an adult may be like, oh my God, like this is cheesy and all this stuff. But like to me, this is like a very big piece of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like with anybody who watches a movie that they just love as a kid. The movie hasn't necessarily aged. In some ways it aged well with a lot of what Zombie said, but in other aspects of cinema, it hasn't aged all that well.
It's
took
very
me
nice.
years to realize that I always forget his name, but the leader of like the resistance, Dennis Leary, was actually Dennis Leary, the comedian. It wasn't until I probably watched it in my late teens that I realized, oh my God, that's that comedian guy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
something like Edward cool. Friendly or something was his name. Something Friendly. I don't know what it is. I remember.
But yeah, like this for me, like it's just part of my childhood. Like I could sit down and watch it at any time. It doesn't make it any better. Got its flaws. But I just like this movie. I absolutely freaking love it. I'm willing to admit though that it's not a great movie.
I mean, it's not a cinematic masterpiece by any stretch.
Oh no, but none of those action movies at the time.
It's a fun romp.
Yeah. Like this to me is like watching Last Action Hero. Like a lot of people did not like Last Action Hero. I freaking loved it. It's a great movie, and I just love the scene where Stallone's the Terminator.
Yeah,
right.
But
so they mention, speaking of Schwarzenegger and Stallone and all that kind of stuff, where it's brought up that Schwarzenegger was president. They don't name the year, but it was close. It was close because in 2003. Schwarzenegger became the governor of California. I was like, oh, that is awesome. Like how do you? They're like, oh, so close.
Yeah. Because they
But as-
mentioned the Schwarzenegger library.
Right, right.
And that starts
I mean-
the whole conversation.
I've been prattling on, but really, Dustin, how do you feel about this movie? Did you even enjoy it, or because you said at one point you just was about to shut it off?
Well, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it overall. Like, it took me a minute because it's like, okay, where is this going? Is it just constant like jabber? Because I mean, it was just going on with the this and that and the other thing. It was just driving me crazy. Like, it was to the point where I would have been like, if they were my kids, I would have yelled to shut up. Like, I was that annoyed.
So,
It's just
so
like
it was like
kind of the
watching
point.
TikTok.
Because these people have had Kumbaya participation trophy
right.
culture their whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's again to go back to what Madness said here. What Pop said, he said, what was it? Cross the movie Demolition Man with Idiocracy, and that's what you have. Society is now. It's just like, yeah,
very much so.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Demolition Man would lead into Idiocracy had
Right.
John Spartan not been released when he was.
right.
Mhm.
Like Idiocracy could actually be the sequel to Demolition Man.
right.
So let's say, so what did they get right in their predictions of what some certain things would be like in the future? So right off the bat, there's self-driving cars with capability of manually taking over and driving. So they got that right.
Yep.
There's not much else that I can think of.
Yeah. But
I mean, Taco Bell is the apex of cuisine. Like, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Like, I'll drive an hour out of my way to get Taco Bell.
Well, yeah, that's only because you don't like the ones near you.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, if I lived in a place, like I play GTA with a group of people, and one of them's like, oh, you got to go like an hour and 20 minutes to get Taco Bell. I'd figure out a reason to drive an hour and 20 minutes to get Taco Bell once a week.
Right.
The apex.
Yeah.
So let's touch on the whole museum thing where they had the armory in the museum. How much ammo could they possibly pack in this one room, right?
Right.
Nobody's carrying around sacks of ammunition. It's just
right, and
guns.
no one needed to reload ever.
Right?
She's like, oh, it's like you're kidding, right?
Gotta love
I get the
those
one
movies.
gun that was like futuristic and just like took time to warm up.
The magnetic accelerator gun.
Yeah, that's the one thing that it's like, okay, that could seriously mess something up. And
what about the oldie station?
Wouldn't need to
with
reload.
the jingles,
right?
The commercials, the radio station with nothing but commercials.
Oh God, yes.
That would drive.
Like, they wait all day to hear that one commercial.
Yeah, that is just mind-boggling. Although some people, I mean, it's kind of the same thing now. People wait. Well, they used to wait all day to hear one song, but
the Hot 9 at night, baby.
Yeah,
but now it's at your fingertips.
Right.
You look up anything you want, anytime you want.
Yeah, unless you are listening to the radio, and then it's just like, oh, it's the same 5 songs on this station. Next station, it's the same 5 songs there. Next station, same 5 songs. It's just like, okay, let's
Done
move
with
to something else.
So all in all, Demolition Man, enjoyable? Yes, no.
Yeah, no. Ultimately, I ended up enjoying it. I thought once I got over the shock of the whole, like, hey, if you curse, you get a ticket, and the 3 seashells and the just all of that nonsense. It was just like, okay, all right. Now
you felt just like John
calm. Enhance your calm, okay?
Right.
You literally, they created a feeling in you that was exactly what John Spartan was experiencing.
Right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's why I was able to identify with him immediately. It's just like,
Mhm.
oh, good God, this sucks.
Thank God you're here.
For sure. But I don't know.
If you haven't seen Demolition Man, get out there and watch it. And as an adult, if you think it's bad, GFY.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a masterpiece. When you're 10 years old, it's a masterpiece.
yeah. I didn't. And okay, so I didn't even notice the nudity scene that there was apparently in it.
How did you miss that? Technically, there's two.
So
Let's see.
they're
I'm just
who comes
completely.
to the door. I'm drawing a blank. So he's in his apartment.
Uh-huh.
He has a conversation, and then all of a sudden his video call starts ringing, and he answers it, and it's a chick standing there like totally nude, and he literally like all of a sudden she realizes like it's not who she thought it was, and like
Oh, right.
throws her pal on.
Wrong
Right,
number
right.
situation, but it's the video, so it's full frontal, tits out, and she's grabbing a blanket. Oh my God, I'm sorry, it's the wrong number.
Yeah.
So go back. I know you, Dustin. Go back, go watch it. But if you're quick enough during the sex scene between him and what's her name,
Bullock.
there's flashes, and it's mostly of just her face. But if you're quick enough, there's at least two like split shots where there's like breasts visible.
Huh.
So technically, there's two nudie scenes.
I didn't notice that because I thought it was just like it was just shorting out because there was something wrong with him at the time.
Well, no, we're seeing flashes of what he is seeing. We never see what she's seeing. We're in his shoes and we're catching flashes of what he's seeing.
Yeah.
So that's what you see with like it's broken and all that kind of stuff. Because you got to remember that's something he wasn't exposed to any of that.
Right.
You know, he's thinking, oh yeah, she wants to get busy. We're gonna get together, and she's like, no, put this on.
Here,
and I'm
put
gonna
this headset on. Yeah, it's just like what?
Right. So for him, it's a new experience. It's weird. It's going to be broken. There's a feeling there, but it's not right. Like what's going on? So, but yeah,
there's normally the swapping of bodily fluids.
Yeah, there's none of that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I do recall the scene. I just totally brushed it off because it's just like, oh, it was the wrong number.
It's quick.
Yeah,
it's real quick. But
yeah, I had totally dismissed that.
It's not like the end credit scene for The Howling 2 at all. So that just keeps going and going and going.
Keep talking about The Howling. I'm gonna have to end up watching it at some point.
Just skip the movie and go straight to the when they roll the credits. That's all I'm saying.
It's the same thing with Barbed Wire. So you just watch the end credits. That's it.
No, it's very visual. The Howling 2 has a very visual end credit scene. So
that's what I'm saying is if you watch Barbed Wire.
I don't remember Barbed Wire at all.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, no, I remember talking to someone who's just like, yeah, he's just like, oh my God, Barbed Wire's the best movie ever. And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, once the credits roll.
So I didn't have any inkling to watch it, but me and my buddy were at Blockbuster and we were just like, all right, let's rent this movie and see what it's all about, see if he's right, and maybe it's a hidden gem or like what a gem that you didn't ever think of or whatever. But he phrased it weird, and so we decided to pick it up, and we were just like, what the fuck? Like, what is this?
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Until you got to the end credits.
I don't remember the end credits because I turned it off.
Yeah, I don't think he made it.
Director's cut too. Like I think it's the director's cut. Like they have basically what the opening credits is like her like dancing in water and stuff and like flipping her hair around. Well, it's a very extended version of that.
Oh,
where,
okay.
Yeah.
Not missing much then.
As a 15-year-old kid,
as a 15-year-old kid, probably. I'm sure that would be very the highlight of my day, but yeah.
All right. Speaking of highlight of the day, let's move on to our
Batman.
other movie.
Yeah.
Batman.
I mean, they've already heard my stance here. I'm just ready to hear what Dustin's going to put at the apex of this conversation.
I had such a hard time to get my kids to watch this with me. Like they
really?
could not understand like what this movie was when it came out. I tried to explain to them that Batman Fever swept the world.
Yeah.
There was Batman everything.
For sure.
Everything had Batman on it. I mean, you could turn the TV on or listen to the radio without something about Batman. It was everywhere. And this is pre-internet, So It was a really big deal when this movie came out, because before this movie came out, there weren't many superhero movies. There weren't many good superhero movies.
Oh, yeah.
It was the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. First one was really good. People really loved it. And it is kind of tapered off to the other ones that they made, which were still okay. Not bad. Yeah. Not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But it was nothing compared to when this movie came out. It was just a phenomenon.
What was the statistics that you were bringing up last time? It was the what anniversary, or it was what was the anniversary that came out?
This is the 35th year anniversary. It came out in 1989, June 23rd.
Okay.
So this month marks the 35th anniversary of this movie, and certain parts of it didn't really age too well, and there's other parts that still kind of hold up. It's like, I could see that in a movie that somebody made today.
Yeah.
So, Dustin, when's the first time you saw this movie? Did you see it when you were younger, like when it came out?
Not when it came out.
When it came out.
I
remember seeing it like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later.
We went to theaters.
Yeah.
Because I do think that affects, like, it was so big at the time when I was, 6, 7 years old, that when I saw this movie, like, I was just immediately hooked. I mean, it was like cocaine, which I've not done out there. But I heard
for the record.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, I couldn't get enough.
Yeah.
At that point. I mean, it just, to me, it was like the best thing ever. And I think, like, Zombie said, maybe parts of it don't hold up as well over time. But they do fit really well in the universe that Tim Burton created.
Yeah, for sure.
So not just Burton, but Danny Elfman. This was, I think, like his second movie to make a score for.
Yeah.
And it cemented the music
for
Batman.
Sure.
Like, they still use that theme. However it may vary, it's still there.
I like how it plays
big.
Even in undertones for other scores to other Batman movies.
Yes,
and
it's
and
still there
cartoons,
in some form or fashion.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember how old I was when I watched it. I know. I don't think I even got to watch it before we watched Batman Forever in theaters. I think they were just the first two movies were two movies that I just wasn't allowed to see.
I mean, they were pretty dark as far as.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but the 80s was a pretty dark time for Batman as well, just as a character in general.
Yeah.
DC is dark anyway, so they have that dark undertone for everything that they've got going on.
I mean,
Well,
they allowed fans to vote to kill Jason Todd. Like,
right.
You don't get much darker than that because everybody hated him.
True.
Yeah. I don't know, but so anyway, I watched the Val Kilmer Batman Robin movie, the Val Kilmer Batman Forever, and then I watched Batman and Robin in theaters with my parents.
So you were introduced to it as like the campy Batman.
I was introduced to the Adam West Batman, Cesar Romero, and stuff like that, and
right.
Those characters. I would watch that on I think it was like channel 23 in the afternoons, and it was just reruns, old reruns and stuff from the 60s. So I would rewatch those. So that was like my Batman that I was allowed to watch.
Yeah.
until I got to Batman Forever, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the Batman, and it's like the Batman movie. And so like my obsession with the Batmobile was the Batman Forever Batmobile,
glowing monstrosity.
yeah. So, and then of course when they didn't bring it back because they stupidly blew it up, and they brought back the convertible one, it was just so lame for the Batman and Robin one. But anyway, I did not like that one. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of movies I didn't see until later. So like I was probably in my 20s when when one of my friends was just like, dude, we got to watch Batman. She's like, I don't know. So watched it. It's like, all right. It was all right. But, for him, a Batman fan, it was groundbreaking. And it was just like, this is the greatest thing ever. So I get that.
I think it was for a lot of people,
Yeah.
that because I mean, even, Pops, he's saying that this is like Keaton is his Batman, Jack is his Joker. Like people still say that today. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Especially given, the later movies that we've gotten, with other actors portraying the same characters now. But for people to still say Keaton is Batman, he is the Batman.
Yeah.
Like that's strong right there.
Yeah. So that's my perspective. I would not say that they are my Batman or Joker or anything like that, because to me, Heath Ledger and Christian Bale were that level to me. My favorite movie is probably Batman
Begins.
The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Okay.
Yeah. Because that was just insanely
the only
good.
Qualm I have about The Dark Knight is Christopher Nolan went away from Gotham City having a certain feel, which they filmed Batman Begins inside of a humongous studio. They built a Gotham City, so they had a lot of room to work with, and the scale of the movie was nowhere near as big and all that. But when he got away and started just using New York and Chicago, that was one of the biggest pieces of the Burton movies that I really loved. Was
right.
When you watch the Tim Burton movies, you have that very dark Gothic city that's a character in the movie itself. And I just felt like Christopher Nolan, he started out kind of that way, especially with like the Narrows and stuff in Gotham City and those scenes. But then he immediately got away with it. I mean, I still think, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is, one of the top performances that an actor's put on. Like, you could tell, like, he's in that. Like,
oh, he was definitely unhinged.
Yeah. And at that point, like, just the writing was great. know a lot of those
Everything
things.
is great.
Like rewatching Batman '89, like I still get all that like nostalgic feel of what it was like watching it the first time and all that. And it's a little bit grandiose and diverges from reality. I mean, and then you get in the Schumacher stuff, and I think it even gets worse at that point.
Yeah.
At least the Joker's like a real person, even though he fell in this vat of stuff and it gave him this. He's got goons and everything. But
See, he says, Heath reinvented the Joker, but Jack did the tribute to Caesar. Yeah, I was going to bring that up because there was scenes where Jack would just go into that Joker laugh. And he looked like Caesar in certain angles and everything, which was trippy for me to see again. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with the hair and the makeup, the way they did it, and then that prosthetic. And my kid was, my youngest, how could somebody smile and make themselves look like that? And I had to explain, no, it's a prosthetic. It's not, he's not. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys know Bat in the Sun? Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
I'm not.
They do a lot of the different hero versus another hero type battles. They the dude that's behind that, Aaron Shinoki, I'm not sure how to say his last name. He actually does like have the Joker smile, and it's just really like messed up. He can contort his face where it's just like, and he has the smile really wide, and it's just like, I don't know how anyone could do that for very long, but he does, because he plays the Joker in their little world of movies and stuff that they do.
Right.
But yeah. But anyway, that's besides the point. Other performances that I think were awesome. Mark Hamill as the Joker is by far one of the best. But yeah, that movie definitely, it was inspiring because it was just powerful.
The thing that I appreciated about it too was they didn't have to go into, who is Bruce Wayne and how did he get to this point? It was like, no, that opening scene, he is Batman. He's in the costume and he's going after goons.
Yeah.
And the whole setup where he's got the two on the roof, and he throws the one through the door and he grabs the other and he's holding him over the ledge, and the one bad guy's like, "Who are you?" And he goes,
"I'm Batman.
I'm Batman." I immediately looked over to my youngest and I said, "Now you know where it comes from." Because we've watched all kinds of animated stuff or whatever. And there was one show that made a whole joke about it. I think it was like Teen Titans Go or something. And they were all, "I'm Batman. I'm Batman." They were all dressed up like Batman and stuff. So, like, now you see where it came from.
Yeah.
Like Michael Keaton, there's something about him as an actor. Like, so Bruce Wayne's very buttoned up, brooding, kind of like that whole brooding, like, he's very serious, all that. And Michael Keaton can convey like emotions and different themes really well non-verbally. And so like throughout that movie, like there's just really good scenes where he doesn't say anything, but he's totally believable as the billionaire, and then also as like when he's in the suit as Batman.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the other actors who've played Batman, typically they're good at one or the other. They're either good in the suit or they're good as Batman or as Bruce Wayne, but not both usually. And I think that's one of the things that made Michael Keaton so good in the role is he very much could do both. And the dude's just a chameleon. Like if you watch this movie and then right after it, you watch either Dream Team or the one where he like plays all the versions of himself.
Multiplicity.
Multiplicity.
Yeah.
Like you just see how much of a range that the guy has.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. Even today.
He plays like a total delusional mental patient in Dream Team. And then in Multiplicity, he plays all these different versions of himself with different. And I haven't seen that movie for a little long time, but I just remember, does one of them have like socks on his hands at one point? He's just really effed up.
Yeah,
I've never seen it
because he's a copy of a copy of a copy or something like that.
Yeah.
And it, transcription errors start to happen in the copy.
Right.
Yeah. So just the guy is so good.
Showing dangerously
everything that he plays in.
Yeah. Keaton is a beast.
Yes, he
Indeed.
is. So I was 9 when this movie came out, and I had seen it. Thought it was, I loved it. Of course, everybody did at the time or whatever. 9-year-old boy, who wouldn't love it? Wants to be Batman. Couple of things I want to hit here. I actually, we had a really good costume shop in the town that I grew up with. Really, really good costumes, not like the cheap crap. They had the cheap crap, but they also had really good quality stuff. So they had the cowl and the mask and everything, and it was rubber, and I had got it. And of course, it was always too big for me because it was made for an adult. They didn't have kid sizes or whatever. So I'm putting it on, and I'm running around, and my mom, she puts it on. She's like, "Hey, look," and it never really fit any of us. But we noticed, like around the eyes, it's like, hey, wait a minute, because you see our skin tone around it, and we didn't put 2 and 2 together until after we had got that mask. Like, oh, you got to put like the black stuff around your eyes. You got to black your eyes out or whatever. My youngest daughter picked that up immediately. She's like, why would you wear a mask if you have to put the makeup on underneath it in order to? Why can't you just have the mask and just have your eyes? Do you know how long it took me to realize that, kid? And this is the first time watching this movie, and you figured it out. But also. So after I had seen this movie, I think I don't remember which one came out first. If it was this Batman movie, or if it was Beetlejuice. And I meant to look that up before the show. I'm sorry. So
the Batman
came
out first.
This was the first example that stood out to me that made me realize that actors play other roles in other movies. The scene that I'm talking about is when Bruce Wayne is in Vicky Vale's apartment and the Joker shows up and they have their confrontation, and he takes the fireplace poker and smashes the vase and said, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." That was totally Beetlejuice. Like his range at that point that he did with his voice, I'm like, wait a minute. This is the same guy that played Beetlejuice. I never
Beetlejuice was the year before.
Okay, so I don't remember which one I saw first then, but I made that connection, and then that made me realize, actors play other parts in other movies or whatever,
Right.
So.
That's funny. Oh, dude. Well,
I was kind of like you. I wasn't allowed to see too many things, like movies or whatnot. There was like a very limited library, I guess I should say, of what my family would let us watch, and it was just me and my 2 little cousins, and we were the grandkids, and they're like, all right, we got to entertain these little shits with something. Let's pick out what they can and can't watch right now, and then when it comes on TV, they can sit down and we can have some peace. They're not fighting with each other while they're watching this stuff.
Yeah.
It was the same stuff over and over and over. I got so tired of it. So there was only, to me, there may have been only 20 movies in the world that existed, and we got to watch those 20 only.
Yep. That's pretty much how it was with me. So, and I'm still coming across things I haven't watched, and that's the purpose of the show.
Yeah, every now and then we get surprised, like, really? You haven't seen that?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I said in our group chat the other day, it's just like, Yeah, you know, I think Kurt can attest to this. It's probably best if you just assume that I haven't watched it, and that way you're pleasantly surprised when you find out that I have. So it's just like, I don't know. But I know we have another show coming up here in 20 minutes, so I want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Do we have any other things? Anything else we want to touch on about Batman or Demolition Man or anything like that?
I mean, I think, in my opinion, at least check them out. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Batman 1989. I mean, if you're a superhero fan, you haven't seen that.
Where have you been?
But still,
Right.
even if you're not a superhero fan, like the themes through, I mean, and this is all throughout all of Batman, like
Yeah.
the psychology of how he's dealing with his trauma from his childhood and all that. I mean, it's a very deep character.
Mhm.
So if you don't like superhero movies and stuff, there's still a lot of meat on that bone there.
Yep.
With the story and everything. Demolition Man, if you just want to fucking strap on, bandoliers and run through the house with your Nerf Gatling guns, and,
Reenact
throw
some
that puppy
scenes.
on.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Demolition Man and make the comparisons, the parallels of what they predicted to be the future and seeing similar things. Even today, kind of makes you wonder, where are we headed with this?
I know, right?
But yeah, so I definitely have some suggestions for next week.
Yeah.
So
let's hear 'em.
I only picked one, but it comes with an opportunity to view others before it.
Okay.
So I know just a couple of weeks ago we touched on the King of Monsters, Godzilla, with Godzilla -1. I want to go back to Godzilla with Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. It comes out July 4th on Max. So you'll have a day and a half to get it in to watch it. If you want,
it's
take
on
a romp
Netflix now, isn't it?
take a romp through that universe. You start with Kong Skull Island, and then you got Godzilla, and then Godzilla King of Monsters, and you got Godzilla versus Kong or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then this one comes out home release on Max July 4th. So that one is the only one I'm suggesting. If you haven't watched the other ones, watch them, binge them, catch up. They're all on Max.
Yeah.
If you've seen them all, you're good. Just watch that last one. I know I'm going to. I've got no other plans that day. As soon as I see it available, I'm watching it. I've already watched the others. Movie. I started last week watching from Kong Skull Island all the way. I'm caught up, so I'm good. I'm catching that last one on the 4th.
Nice.
So that's the only one I'm going to suggest. You can binge the other ones if you want, and we can discuss all the other ones if you want. So if you got a second movie to suggest, now's the time. Forever hold your peace.
I'm looking up a couple things just to see where we can get them.
I was going to go patriotic, but then when they announced that was coming out on the 4th, I'm like, nope, that's it. That's my pick.
The only patriotic thing I can think of is, we can always do that. But Independence Day, but I was thinking Patriot, but that is a 3-hour long movie. So
see, I was looking up those movies, trying to make sure that they were available to even be streamed. It was, if you've got a subscription or something. Some of them you just cannot find. Typically, okay, for the new viewers that might be joining us that don't, you're not familiar with us or whatever, we try to stick with, with free viewing if we can. If it's on YouTube for free or if it's on Tubi or something like that. So we don't always go with subscription services. Not all the time. So,
yeah,
if we can do it free, we usually do.
Yeah,
I was going to suggest one of my favorites. I don't know, Dustin, if you've seen this. Zombie, I would think you have. But one of my favorite movies of all time is The Burbs.
Okay. Yes, I have seen that.
You've seen it? Okay, so
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Tom Hanks, where they live
Yeah.
in the suburbs, and all the neighbors are like, they basically live on a cul-de-sac, and it's this story of, I mean, you know what people do and how they like talk about each other and spy on each other. It's all these people that live on this cul-de-sac, and then they get new neighbors, and they're trying to find out about them and all this, and it turns into this whole like crazy scenario.
Okay.
My mom took us to see it in twins in a double showing back to back when we were kids. So like, but it's great. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it on any of the streaming services.
Okay. Let's see.
How about let's see. What about just watch that? Let's see. There's a movie that that's right.
See that one.
That movie's so good, dude. Like, if you get the
Independence Day Resurgence is out on Tubi.
That's the newer one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The second
I
one,
think I watched it when it came out.
Yeah, I think I did too.
I watch movies, as many times as I want to in my life. Like, my wife does not like to watch movies a second time. She wants to see them once and move on. And I'm that person that's like, I will watch a movie as many times as I want to.
Yeah.
Let's see,
All right, so let's do a free movie. So Tubi, Independence Day 2 Resurgence, and then King of Monsters.
I mean, I could have just said,
or
Return of the Living Dead, because that takes place, I believe, on July 3rd, so the day before July 4th. No. Okay, so Independence Day 2, what's that streaming on?
Tubi.
Oh, it is on Tubi?
Yeah.
How many days we got? Because there's some stuff. It's the end of the month. There's stuff expiring.
It doesn't say that it's leaving or anything when I clicked on it.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't say.
Oh, there's some good ones on here that we'll have to get into.
Yeah, bookmark them, because that's what I do. I'll pull up Tubi, late at night while I'm painting or whatever, and I'll be scrolling. Oh, that's on there! Holy crap!
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch Sister Act 2.
No thanks.
Oh no!
My mom loved those movies, and so I've seen them a trillion times.
All right, so let's make a decision. Independence Day Resurgence, and
I'm good
on Tubi, and what's the
Godzilla Kong: The New Empire?
That's on Max.
On Max.
Yeah, on Max. New Empire.
July 4th.
Yep, July.
Not there yet. Yeah, I know you said Netflix earlier, but that's actually it was released in UK on Netflix. So
yeah, I thought I saw it recently on Netflix, but I guess I was wrong. Thought I watched it on Netflix, but
now they had
an early.
They had the first Godzilla from this storyline. They had that one on Netflix, but it's gone now. I think it expired last week or something.
Okay. All right, so we have our assignment. I'm gonna wrap up and. What were the movies again? Independence Day 2 Resurgence.
Yep.
And on Tubi, and King of Monsters, or
Godzilla
the New Empire.
The new
Godzilla
Empire.
X Kong New Empire on HBO Max on the 4th.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Until next time, we'll be around. Be sure to join us on all of our show socials and all that stuff. And yeah, peace out.